September 6, 1620, Mayflower left England for the New World. On board were a crew of about 25 and 102 passengers, 51 religious separatists that you hear all about, and 51 strangers, a group of hired hands, indentured servants, and other folks. One of those hired hands was a man named John Alden. He was my 10th great-grandfather, and he was the cooper on board the ship. His job was to build the wooden barrels that held the beer that sustained the pilgrims on their journey to the New World. Beer, not water, was what people drank on board ships in those days. In fact, that's basically what they drank anywhere in those days. Water would spoil in the hold of the ship in those days, whereas beer was naturally preserved by alcohol and hops. And so it would stay fresh throughout the voyage. So everybody on board drank beer, men, women, and children, and the crew had a daily ration of about a gallon. So, good news. Beer on the Mayflower. Bad news was that the trip took twice as long as they thought, and they got lost. Possibly because of the beer. They were supposed to be at sea for a month. Instead, they were out for 65 days, and they were supposed to go to the Hudson River. And instead, they first saw land at the Cape. They realized their mistake. They turned south, tried to get around the Rip at Monomoy, couldn't do it, turned back north, eventually landed at Provincetown. They then spent the next month going along the interior of the Cape, looking for a suitable location for the plantation without a whole lot of success. So it's now mid-December. It's getting pretty cold. They're tired, hungry. Most importantly, they're running out of beer. The captain said, "You got to get off the ship because I need what's left of the beer to get back to England with the crew." So on December 19th, William Bradford, the original governor of the colony, wrote the following in his diary, and you'll see it on all our packaging. "We cannot now take time for further search or consideration, our victuals being much spent, especially our beer." Next day, December 20th, 1620, pilgrims got out in Plymouth. So it wasn't luck or planning or providence. Beer is why the pilgrims came to Plymouth. And that's why Mayflower Brewing Company exists. In fact, it's that story that compelled me to start the company. I had thought a lot about starting a brewery for about a year. I had gone to school, I apprenticed, I had done a business plan, done the model, all the numbers. Hadn't really convinced myself that we could make it happen and that it would really make a lot of sense until I came upon that story. And everything just came together. Now the funny side of that was that, okay, great, so start the business, get logged on to the registry at the government website and all that good stuff, go and sign a lease. I'm heading down to Plymouth to check out the new facility, and on the way I got a phone call from my wife who said, "I just talked to my mother, who said you ought to pick up the Sunday Globe." And I thought, okay, I'll get it on the way home. She goes, no, you probably want to pick up on the way down and read the food and art section. I said, okay. So it happens to be the South Shore. I happen to live in Wellesley, but it happened to be the South Shore version. This was not in the Wellesley version. So I go get the paper, open it up, and there on the front page is Sam Adams Boston Beer coming out with Mayflower Golden Anniversary Ale. I thought, you gotta be kidding me. First of all, they have nothing to do with 1620. They're in 1776. What are they doing going backwards? And secondly, how is this possible? This could be the exact same time. Well, I start to read the article. They reference somebody at Plymouth Plantation. I see her name. I send her an email trying to find out a little bit more information about it. Turns out that they had made a short, single batch to celebrate the golden anniversary of the Mayflower II ship that was originally sailed in 1957. And that was the golden anniversary, was referring to the 50th anniversary of that ship. And so I confirmed with her via email that they just made 100 barrels of it, and that was it. It was going to be gone. Made me feel a lot better. But I think that the moral of all of this for me was, certainly I'm in a brand-related business, but if you have a story, use it, tell it, over and over. We get more mileage out of that little story than you can imagine. We've been in every newspaper in the local area without ever having called anybody. We've been on TV several times. We were on Discovery Channel last year. We're going to be on Discovery Channel on the eve of the Super Bowl this year. And I haven't called any of these people. They call me because they see this story that just kind of perpetuates itself. So if you've got a story, use it.